What is going on, everyone? Badger here. This video was actually recorded once before and was supposed to be coming out Friday morning, but we got the news that hey, what if Netflix wins the bidding war? What's Paramount going to do? And I had this whole thing because they've told us what they're going to do. And then that night, of course, Thursday night, we got news that yes, Netflix did win the Warner Brothers Discovery bidding war with an $82.7 billion offer, and they have now entered exclusive deal talks to finalize the purchase of Warner Brothers Studios, HBO Max, the catalog, streaming, all the things. So Warner Brothers Discovery is moving forward with the exclusive deal talks with Netflix. The Wrap has learned, this was what dropped the other night, WBD has selected Netflix after the streaming giant offered $27.75. And it's very interesting because we heard that Paramount for sure was told not to go beyond $27. Even now we're hearing that they're offering $30, the exact share. So the Wrap here saying that Netflix is giving $27.75 a share for the studio and streaming assets, a mix of cash and stock worth $82.7 billion. Streamer announced on Friday, Netflix disclosed that it would have to pay a breakup fee of $5.8 million if it walked away, while it would get $2.8 billion if Warner Brothers Discovery backs out. That is pretty definitive. So now we go to this of December 1st, when it was like Netflix likely out of the running. Antitrust. So now that they've agreed to sell for a huge amount of money, there's two huge obstacles. The guaranteed obstacle is the one that made everyone, including myself, think that knocked them out of the running altogether, because the government regulatory oversight, particularly with the Trump White House, would be so overwhelmingly against, and this is kind of bipartisan. I'm hearing like Elizabeth Warren and other Democrats also against this. So it would be so overwhelming that it would be a non-starter. So again, we got from the New York Post that the concerns emerged during a previously unreported high-level meeting roughly 10 days ago. Multiple government officials warning that Netflix already wields enough power in the entertainment marketplace, and buying the world's number 3 streaming service, HBO Max, plus a top Hollywood studio could push the company beyond acceptable limits. Another one saying and telling the Post, basically everyone agreed that Netflix presents unique antitrust concerns. And if it won the bidding war, it would be one long slog and touch off an investigation along the lines of those of Google and Amazon. And we're already hearing there's new documents being released amongst Warner Brothers of the do's and don'ts for legal reasons. Another added bluntly, Netflix already has market dominance, but if you add a major streaming service that would stifle competition at some point, those two statements alone capture the gravity of what the White House is signaling. Absolutely, they do. Again, they point here that the years-long probe, doesn't matter how much you're getting if you don't actually get it into the final, mergers and acquisitions goes through, but that takes years upon years upon years. While companies like Paramount, Skydance, and Comcast continue to circle Warner Brothers, Netflix's position has become significantly more precarious. The administration's antitrust division, Freudian, led by Trump appointee Gail Slater, who we will be hearing more of, would almost certainly launch an expansive investigation into Netflix's operations. And it's not just them. We had this whole thing. This is Netflix Warner Brothers deal would raise antitrust concerns, undermine opportunities for creatives, GOP rep says. And he has a whole long thing here. I'll just read a part of it where they say, as you are aware, Netflix is already the dominant streaming platform in the United States, and permitting it to absorb a major competitor raises antitrust concerns. With more than 300 million global subscribers and a vast content library, Netflix currently wields unequaled market power. Adding both HBO Max subscribers and Warner Brothers premiere content would further enhance this position, reportedly pushing the combined entity above the 30% share of the streaming market, a threshold traditionally viewed as presumably problematic under antitrust laws. So that's just the governmental hurdles it has to get around. But there's another problem for Netflix. That's that Paramount isn't going away. So we heard from the get that if they did not get this the easy way, they would do it the hard way. And we did find out that here. Thank you, That Park Place. Also citing New York Post, if Paramount loses bid for Warner Brothers, which it has, Ellison has a backup plan. So we've got this right here. According to New York Post, senior executives and sources close to the process say the race is up in the air. Now, obviously, we got pushed after a letter that Ellison's released saying that it looks like they're favoring Netflix, because apparently the CEO, or at least the co-CEO of Netflix, Sarandos, is friends with Zaslav, and there might be some political accusations. That's neither here nor there. The question is, what do they do now? And the answer is going to be go straight to the shareholders and buy as much stock as they can, and then petition the shareholders that they're actually the ones with the winning plan. So should the WBD board pick Netflix, Skydance's David and Larry Ellison aren't prepared to exit quietly. Instead, they are preparing what sources describe as a plan similar to a hostile bid. The Ellisons would bypass the board entirely and appeal directly to shareholders. Their pitch, according to the Post, that they intend to argue that Netflix's bid is destined to collapse under the aforementioned regulatory scrutiny. The article states that the Netflix plan is facing rejection by President Trump's antitrust cops at the Department of Justice, and if litigated, they will likely lose in federal court. Now, Zaslav was set to leave in 2027 once they did the first scheduled split of the company between the movie and streaming and all that and Discovery Global Networks. That was on its own. They are splitting now in accordance with this bid, which means the secondary provisions enact, and Zaslav is staying until 2030. Trump administration ends in 2028, and Gunn's contract for DC is up in 2026. So follow me around the room. All they need to do is outlast the investigations until the next administration, which presumably might be a little bit more favorable to them, or bribes. I don't know. But either way, the biggest controversy, their biggest problem is still the antitrust concerns and regulatory. And that's years away from being cleared. And of course, Paramount is going directly to the shareholders, basically promising that our money is better and you'll get it quicker. By contrast, the Ellisons will insist that their offer is one guaranteed to sail through regulatory approval, providing shareholders immediate payout on the whole company, not just parts of the company and not just years down the line. A bird in the hand worth two in the proverbial bush. As pointed out, the concerns would be combining, and I did this in a separate video saying that this is the nail in the coffin for theatrical releases. Having the biggest streaming platforms 1 and 3 together makes it the biggest streaming platform twice over, and they can absolutely dictate shorter release windows, and then it falls apart. WDW Pro, separate from that Park Place article, saying that he's hearing that Paramount Skydance is prepared to go directly to WBD shareholders and around Warner Brothers executives. And then yet again here, Culture Crave rather, from this Charles Gasparino, who's from Fox business correspondent. Paramount is now reportedly looking to launch a hostile bid for Warner Brothers. They feel they're $30 a share. So this is the first time we've heard that Warner Brothers is in fact, or whether Paramount did in fact offer the $30 a share requested, unlike Netflix, which was $27.50. So, or $27.75. They feel their $30 a share all cash offer is higher than what Netflix offered in terms of cash, stock, and the value of the cable business spinoff. So there you go. There's a lot more to get into it. I'm trying to separate it in the big things, the effect on theatrical releases. What does Paramount do next? They go after the shareholders. And then the biggest battle of all of this is government regulatory. So we will deal with that. We got to see what Paramount does now with their hostile bid plan. Either way, let me know what you think about this. Make sure to like, share, and sub. If you have done that, great. If you're going to do that, great. I have no idea what this means for James Gunn beyond what we already know. Lanterns, Supergirl, Clayface. We've heard no movies beyond that. His deal is up in 2026. Zaslav staying until 2030. I don't know. Could you repeat the question? Anyway, we get out of here. You know what to do.
Well, bye.